Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to my channel. Today is part 2 of my hashtag, my top 2024 decks, and this is the Oracle edition. If you happen to watch last week's episode of the Tarot edition, I said I was going to turn this video into a hashtag. I would love for you to participate, play along with me, and show me what your top decks of 2024 are. There isn't any prompts to this. It is just the decks that made the biggest impact on your practice in some way this year. Doesn't have to be decks that you bought this year. They could be decks that are older in your collection, but something about them made a big impact on a reading or on you in general. Maybe it was a deck you didn't like and you've completely changed your mind on it now, and it happens to be a deck you love. Maybe it was a deck that you just couldn't put down and wanted to use for all your readings. Whatever it may be, you could put it in this video, and I would love for you to share it and use the hashtag or tag me in the video so I could come and see it. So like I said, this is the Oracle edition. I don't have 10. I tried to look for 10, but I only have 9. And I really used tarot more than I used Oracle this year, which is odd for me considering I'm an Oracle girl. So I was surprised when I had a hard time finding decks to pull out. So let's go ahead and get started. My first deck I am going to talk about should not be a surprise to anybody. That is my Soul Trees Oracle cards. This is an independent deck by Allison Williams Yee. I've talked about this deck 1,001 times on this channel. There's 80 cards. This is her original one. I also have the Soul Trees Ascension. Whoops, helps if I have the deck the right way. I also have the Soul Trees Ascension deck. That's usually the deck that I use to do readings for myself if I want to use this type of deck, but I could not put this deck down. That's why this is here. This is why this is being shown. I started using it a lot in client readings this year, pulled it for myself this year. I just did not want to put this deck away. It sat right at the front of my cupboard, constantly was pulling it out and using it. And I really do enjoy reading with this deck because it's not just the keywords that I go off of. I really integrate the colors that are on the cards into the reading. So let's say we have maybe risk and love and truth. If you look here, we've got red. We have a little bit of the red here in this card. We have a little bit of red, kind of pinkish in this card, but we have orange, and there's orange on the outside. So maybe you want to speak your truth to a person that you love, but there's a risk that comes to that because, and that's going to be on their end, but you need to get that truth up and out of you, because I would see that as the person I'm reading for, as it's their truth, because the truth and the orange is in this tree. And it was that kind of thing that I brought to the reading. And it also played a part in the tarot that I was using, and maybe what kind of coloring was in the tarot and where the color showed up in these tree cards and the Soul Trees cards. So it really did make an impact, and it wasn't, like I said, just focusing on the keywords. I brought in that other element of the colors too, and there may have been several of the same color that maybe led me to chakra, or maybe something like that needing balanced, or an emotion, or something that was coming out in the cards. Whatever it was, that made a huge impact on the readings. And like I said, because I use this deck so much, I got to know it very well. It was a very easy reader for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially bringing that other element in of the coloring. The next deck I feel is an impactful deck for 2024 is Colette Baron-Reid's The Spirit Animal Oracle. Now this is the pocket edition, and the reason I am showing this edition is because I think I bought 5 of these decks to gift to other people this year. I love this animal oracle. I'm going to say this and then it's going to be completely contradictory to what's in my cabinet. I don't have a lot of animal oracles is what I'm going to say, but every time I look in my cabinet, I manage to find an animal oracle. I don't pull animal oracles that often to read with, but I've had this one since it came out in 2018, the larger version. But I'm showing this one, like I said, because this one I'm gifting to multiple people this year. I adore this deck. I don't have a lot of, I guess, knowledge, or I don't have a lot of, I don't want to say knowledge. I don't have a practice where animals mean a lot to me. Let's put it that way. So for me to use an animal oracle, it's got to have some sort of keyword on it that relates to the animal in some way. So I could use it without the guidebook. I don't want to have to constantly pull a guidebook to use an animal oracle. So when I got this one, when I got the larger version many years ago, I really bonded to it quickly because of not only the animal name on there, but then there was the key phrase. So I had something to go off of. I didn't have to go to the guidebook every time I wanted to use this. So when I pull an animal oracle, this is the deck that I pull. And I'm choosing it as a top 2024 because I love this deck so much and I'm choosing it to gift it to so many. That's why it stand out to me. Because if I'm going to gift the same deck to multiple people, then it has to mean something, you know? That's the way I'm looking at it. So that's why I really added this one in as that standout. The next deck. This should be no surprise to anybody who has been here for longer than one video. It is the Citadel Fantasy Oracle by Liminal 11 and Fez Inkwright. I cannot gush about this deck enough. I only use this deck really for me. This deck has impacted my practice and really pushed me in my practice also. So how did an oracle do that? Well, first of all, it's an archetype deck. And if you don't know, the deck is kind of based where you could use it as like a tabletop game, but I don't go down that road. I just focus on the cards as a regular oracle. It is beautiful, it's minimal, and it's white, red, black, and gold coloring. But you have the archetype on here, the champion, the queen, the smith. And then you have your keywords along with this beautiful imagery that is on this deck. But the thing that makes this a standout for me, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's the fact that the elements are included on this deck also. In my playlist, I think it's in my Let's Read Tarot playlist, I created a whole reading using nothing but this deck and focusing on how the elements shift the reading depending on what element is paired with the corresponding element. And I love that reading that I created. And I've used it several times in my own practice. And this is one that I cannot put down. This is another one that sits right at the front of my cupboard that I am constantly pulling out because I feel this is a pretty well-rounded oracle for me. Especially, I know it's archetype, but you know, when you've got these other keywords on here too, you could go beyond just the archetype title of the card. So this has been the oracle I had to stop myself from using, literally. And so I would pull out other things. I use this, did I say in past life readings? In all kinds of readings for myself. So I would never ever part with this. I thought I would have a hard time because of the odd shape of the cards and shuffling in that, but I absolutely don't. I have gushed about this numerous times on this channel, and this will probably be a standout oracle for me every single year. So the next couple oracles I'm going to show actually surprised me because I I guess, bought them with low expectations, um, for lack of a better term there. So the first one I'm going to show is the Power Thought cards by Louise Hay. This is 64 card deck. This actually came out in 1999. It is produced by Hay House. This is, I guess, more of an affirmation deck, but I used it as an oracle. I would pull this card as the message that I needed to hear right now, and then I would pull additional tarot to go around this to see what I needed to explore in regards to life supports me, or there's plenty for everyone, including me. And I would pull cards to see, why would this be coming up for me? Why is there plenty for everyone? What kind of block do I have to abundance right now? That kind of thing. There is no guidebook for this. On the back is the write-up for the card. The ocean of life is lavish with its abundance. All my needs and desires are met before I even ask. My good comes from everywhere and everyone and everything. I didn't always go to the back of the cards. I really focused heavily on what the front of the cards were saying, and then I would build a reading around it. I used this for clients and guidance in my group. I did readings for clients with this, but I really enjoyed the readings I did for myself with this too, like I said, and then I would build the reading around whatever the message was that came out on the cards. I did not expect that. I did not expect to thoroughly enjoy this oracle as much as I did. Not that I expected it to be a bad oracle in any way, on the contrary, but I didn't expect it to have as big as an impact in my practice as it ended up having. I really do enjoy what is on the front of the cards, and I don't mind some of the write-ups on the back of the cards either. I wasn't even aware of this deck, honestly, and I don't remember who, it might have been Robin who mentioned this deck to me when we were talking about Hay House sales and that were coming up. And so, yeah, I didn't want to pass this one up, and I am really glad that I took a chance on it because it was a real joy to work with. The second deck that completely surprised me, also from Hay House, is Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle, written and illustrated by Colette Baron Reid. Now, I just did a Colette Baron Reid, comparing all my Colette Baron Reid decks, and I talked about this deck there. This deck was not on my radar. I was not going to purchase it. I knew it was coming out. I didn't really have an interest in it at first, but the more I saw it, and I saw someone, I can't remember if they were using it in readings or just talking about it in general, I thought, oh, this is really cute. And I was kind of, these quirky little characters, I was really drawn to them in that video, and they were kind of gave me that alien-esque vibe, which I think I talked about in that other video. So I thought, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and give it a chance and see how we connect with one another. It just so happened that the deck arrived on a really difficult day, and I took it out of the box. I asked a quick question and pulled a card from it, and it was just exactly what I needed to hear. I mean, exactly what I needed to hear to get myself turned around that day. And I spent the next several weeks keeping this deck out on my table, pulling from it daily, and sitting in the energy of the cards and paying attention to the messages and how they were showing up for me throughout the day and so on. And like I said, I just love these quirky little characters that she drew that are on these cards and everything. It was an instant connection between me and the messages on this deck. I love when things work out that way. So because of that, because the connection was so instantaneous, and the messages every single time I have ever pulled one or two cards from this have been just exactly what I needed to hear. This has to go in my top decks of 2024. Another impactful oracle in my practice is the Magical Spirit Oracle, The Brilliance of You, a rock pool publication by Alexis Racken. This was one I saw all over YouTube. On the back, it says, awaken your magic and remember who you really are. That is what drew me to the deck. I don't know. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's menopause. I don't know what it is. But for some reason, this year, I have just been in search of something, or felt like I was in search of something, looking for missing pieces. And did I pass the card up already? I don't know if I did. There was one card in here when I ended up pulling it in my practice. It was this one. Call your energy back to you. Power, aura, and depletion. That was just like, it's like woke me up. I did a whole ritual about calling those pieces back to me. I talked about that in one of my wrap-up videos, I think maybe September or whatever. And I was pulling some of these cards and creating whole pages in my journals around them. I just didn't show them here on my channel. And I was just sitting in the energy of the cards, the name on the cards, the keywords, the phrases on the cards. Sometimes I went to the guidebook, sometimes I didn't. But it was just like, I was almost using the Oracle to find those pieces of me again that are missing, to figure out who I really am. Like I said, maybe it's that stage of life that I'm in. It's not that I don't know who I am. It's just I'm like rediscovering these parts of me that were pushed down, pushed aside while I've, been focused on being a mother to a little child that doesn't need my mothering as much now because he is an adult. And you're stepping into these different roles now as you age in your life. And what I feel about this deck is I don't want to say more grown up, but I guess maybe a little bit more grown up than the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle, which I also completely adore. And I feel like this is the next level almost, if that makes any sense. If anybody else has those two oracles, you can let me know if you feel the same way about that. So that's why I picked this as a top deck for 2024, because it just really made an impact on me personally. So the final two decks I am going to show together because I use them together. And that is the Place Oracle and the Character Oracle. There's no guidebook for these. These were the very inexpensive decks that you can find on Amazon. They're probably, I'm pretty sure that they're AI decks. I seriously doubt that they aren't. But the reason I'm showing them together is because when I do readings, I use them together. So I saw these popping up on some different channels and I really liked the idea of them. And at the time, I was doing some past life work. So I thought, oh, these will be great. I can use the Place Oracle to find out where I was in the character, or it didn't work out that way. I don't even think I used these in the past life reading. I don't think I did. What I ended up doing when I got them in together was using them in a reading where this is the place that you are currently stuck in or stepping into, and this is the character that is either keeping you stuck there or playing some sort of role in regards to that place. So we have factory, industrial production, manufacturing process, assembly line. So you could see this as a repetitive cycle. And then we have the courier, messenger of connections, delivery, information, transmission, or gift. You could see this as he is now stepping forward to move you out of this assembly line, to give you some sort of guidance, to push you out of this repetitive cycle that you are doing in this factory. I love doing readings like that with these two decks. I did this for clients. I even just did a whole entire energy reading. I did it in my Facebook group where I post my availability in that for November. I used these two decks, and I post the same reading on my Instagram page. And I did a whole month worth with, like I said, just these two. So they work very well together, and it shocked me because I purchased them for one type of reading that I never even used them for. And so now they've become their own thing, and because I use them together, that's why I was definitely wanting to show them together. I cannot stand the cardstock though. I'm going to be completely upfront about that. It's this cruddy, glossy cardstock that really sticks together when you shuffle it. Whether I'm overhanding it or riffling it, it does stick together. I'm hoping that maybe that'll wear off eventually, but I doubt it. These decks are very, very inexpensive. I think I said that already. So I was completely shocked with how they ended up fitting into my practice, the type of readings that I ended up doing with them, and it wasn't what I expected at all. So that is it. That is all the oracles I have to show you today. Again, I hope you jump in and participate in this tag in some way. And if you don't, that's okay too. But if you don't, let me know in the comments below, what were your top decks and why were they your top decks in 2024? Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. You know the drill. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe, share, all that happy YouTube stuff. And until I see you next time, bye.